There's kind of two theories about trim brisket. One is not to trim it and leave all that fat on because it renders down and creates more flavor. Well, we beg to differ here because when you trim all the fat off first and then put the seasoning on and smoke it, you get to keep all that seasoning on the meat. If you season it with all the fat on and then you have to trim it off, you're losing that chance for all the flavor to stay on the meat, what you're actually gonna eat. So you can see he's trimming, a good 1.5 inches of a fat cap off the top. And what's great about this is we take this, grind it up with a little more pork shoulder and some brisket meat and make some sausage patties out of it that we sell in a restaurant. And we got homemade sausage burgers. If you're trying to cook brisket for your first time at home, important to me is that you do trim your brisket. One, that's going to make for a more even cook. It's going to cut down your cook time a little bit, and it's going to help you get a better flavor on your brisket as well. So trimming your brisket and then keeping a consistent temperature in your smoker is the most important thing when you're cooking the big cuts. So you can do that by using a combination of hardwood charcoal and wood. We have our own proprietary blend of spices for our Texas seasoning. It's a simple blend. There's no sugar in it like there is for the pork and the ribs, but it's got a lot of black pepper just like they do in Texas. We season it pretty heavy and then we let this sit overnight and then we smoke it for up to 14 hours. Here's our finished product. This is our beef brisket. This one's about 15 pounds. Now it's ready to be trimmed. So what we have here is the top part is called the decal or the point. That comes off. It's actually two separate muscles. So you can see it just separates where the two muscles separate. It almost just pulls itself apart. So that we put aside, we use that for the burnt ends. Here's the grain. You can see that after you get that fat trimmed off between, you want to slice against the grain. Very important. And they say about the thickness of a pencil eraser is the perfect brisket. So here you can see our sliced brisket, and then you can see our pink smoke ring here. That's from the hickory wood we put in the smoker. Here we have the burnt ends. This is the decal. Again, we're going to trim a little bit of the excess fat off that was in between the two muscles. What a lot of people don't realize is this grain runs the opposite way. You can see this has big striations. But then we're going to cut it against the grain to get our burnt ends. This has been smoked for 14 hours, so it's so nice and juicy and tender. You put a little bit of Sweet Baby Ray's on here. And a little bit more of our Texas rub. And these are just delicious.